Hello and welcome back. So, we've just finished the electronics on the guitar, and before we continue, we have to take care of the hardware. Because when I relic a guitar, I usually do something with the hardware to muck it up and make it look older. So if you look close at this one, it's very grimy and dirty, and the plastic has been yellowed and it has some dirt on it, and we're going to clean all that off because the guitar is not going to be relicked any longer. If you think this whole making parts look old is interesting, let me know and I'll make you a video, because it's not that hard to do and I will gladly show you how to do it. Okay, so let's get started with cleaning all the things. Okay, so I'm just going to start by taking the part, and I'm going to take some steel wool and I'm just going to go back and forth and clean it up, and fairly quickly you're gonna see that it becomes all nice and shiny. Don't press too hard, we don't want to go through. The parts have some dings because I've relicked them, and we're not gonna be able to take that out, so don't go crazy and try to do that, because those are indents in the part. It's not something you can polish out. You're just cleaning it up and seeing how well we can do it. Something like that maybe. Next is on these. You can see they look a bit grimy and dirty, and so we're just gonna take some steel wool and go across it and try to clean it up as best as we can. Again, the part has been dinged up pretty bad, so might be a little bit difficult. Hold it in place, go back and forth, and be sure to not put too much pressure. I know it's kind of hard to say how much pressure you do because it's a feel thing, but it's better to put too little pressure and go slow than to put too much. And something like that maybe. It's not perfect, but close. Maybe a little bit more. All the screw heads looks a little bit wonky too, as you can see. Dirty, grimy, you know. So we're just gonna take some steel wool and we're just gonna go over all the screws lightly, because we don't want to go through the chrome, just want to polish them back up. Don't overdo it. Then you might have to buy new ones. I think it looks pretty okay. And then we have the tuners, and they're going to be probably the most difficult ones because they have so many parts. Just go back and forth and up and down, around. And again, we're not going to be able to take away the marks, but we are going to be able to make them look nice and clean, and I really like relic guitars, so what to do. I'm thinking of maybe making a Stratocaster relic. I love relic Stratocaster. It's basically the only guitar I really like relict. If that's something that any of you are interested in watching, let me know. I might decide to film that then. It looks pretty nice now. Only thing left now is yellow paint. See if we can remove it with the steel wool. It should come off really easy. It does. And just to give you a comparison, here is what it looks like on the side I haven't really touched, and then if I turn it around you can see basically white new plastic. Here you can actually do this to any tuners. So if you have tuners that have been on a guitar for maybe 10 years or something, and you think they look a bit dull and boring, like they could need some love, cleaning them off and taking care of them might be a really good thing to do. I have some tuners on my old Mustang guitar that could really need some love, so maybe I'll do that later. They are looking very dull. And you see, it doesn't take that much time. I don't even need to speed this video up or anything. Not that I ever do that. No, but seriously, you don't need to put that much force into it, and you don't need to work on it that long. It's only been a couple of minutes, and it looks, comparing the tuners, two tuners, an old and not an old, a cleaned up one, unclean one, and it looks good. So I'm going to do all of the tuners and all of the screws, but I'll be back really soon with the next part. Okay, so now I've cleaned all the tuners and they look pretty good. They're not perfect because they've been relicked, so they have some scratches and dings on them. You can't really do anything about that, but that's also okay. The guitar will get scratches and dings, and eventually I'll probably, have to relic it to make it look, good anyway, because sadly to say, I kind of bust my guitars. Anyway, I like the tuners the way they are right now, but I also want to, while they're off a guitar, sort of take care of them a little bit. And I'm gonna show you how I put oil on the tuners so that they are easier to move. But I thought, just to teach you guys something and not just make this video about a guitar building, I'll show you some other tuners as well, so that if you have a guitar that has tuners that are a little bit stuck, you can do what I'm going to show you now and use that to basically just make your tuners better again if they feel a little bit stuck or something. And so we'll do one of these and then we'll do some others as well. You can buy synthetic oil. It's used mostly for bikes, but you can use it for guitar parts. I've used this for many years and I haven't had a problem yet with any of my guitars or any tuners I've put it on. And different tuners you go a little bit different about. Most people know that these kinds of tuners have a tiny little hole at the top, and all you have to do is put the top on it like this and squeeze it a little bit so that it flows in, and then you move the tuner around, turn it like this so that it gets moved around in there. Just try to squeeze it in, and then you let it rest with this facing upwards so that the oil doesn't seep out, and you leave it for maybe half an hour like that. There are other kinds of tuners, like here for example I have these I have a couple of groover tuners, and you can't really open them up. So what you need to do is you have to unscrew this part right here, put that to the side, you take this and you pour it down on top of the shaft and into the groove that you screwed into, and you just let it go in there and slowly it will work its way in. You move the tuner around a little bit like this and it will sip in, and then you take and you screw this back on so that it won't fall out, and it will also help force it in. And now that's on there, and you just move this about for a bit and it works fine. If you have maybe like an old Squier guitar or something, they come with tuners like this. Don't mind the nail polish. I was a teenager at one point too, and as you can see they are a little bit, almost always a little bit easy to move like that, and that's because that's where you pour it. You can take these off, but they can be fiddly to put back on, and it's much easier to just put a drop on there, let it sink in, and while it's sinking in you just sit here and you screw it around like this, back and forth for a couple of minutes while it goes in. Then you screw the top on, just like on this kind of tuner, and it's great. Then there are some tuners that look like this, and they are the easiest ones, but you have to keep a close eye on them, because obviously if you do this on the back of the guitar and then you turn the guitar over, you will have a mess. You need to put less on these, so really a tiny drop, because you don't want a lot on these because they have an open back. And then you can just move it around, and you just smear it around, and if you look really closely you can see that you can actually see the oil being squished out in all directions. Most tuners that look like this have a cover that goes over, and it has two tiny little legs that holds it in place. Sometimes it's 4. On the side you can see the little notch here on the side, and you just bend them back and you can take it off. You obviously have to take the tuner off the guitar to be able to get to those legs so you can start turning it. But that's basically all you have to do, and then you have to go over all your tuners and you just squeeze it in, take the next tuner, hold it in, squeeze it in. So here I have the cover for the pickup, and as you maybe can see, it has a bunch of scratches, some dirt and grime on it, and so we're going to see if we can clean it up a little bit. I'm going to start off with steel wool and just go back and forth, and then side as well. Looks a lot better already. And then I'm gonna use some wet and dry sandpaper, smooth it out even more. Always move in the same direction so you don't get weird scratches. I'm gonna fold it. And last part is I'm gonna buff it. It becomes a little bit shiny again. You can see it. Just go back and forth like this. I don't know how well the camera picks it up, but it looks maybe not new, but at least it doesn't look relict and grimy. Okay, so here's the bridge that I've made, and I'm just gonna try and see if, because it was a black one to begin with, I'm gonna see if I can clean it up. I want to make everything look nice and chromed, so if I can't make this look nice, I'm gonna go and buy a new one that is actual chrome, and maybe I'll show you how I did the whole cutting in the thing or something. We'll see. You can see it becomes less dull really quick. So let's continue and see what happens. Yeah, I'm gonna continue cleaning it a little bit and we'll see what happens. Okay, so I've decided that cleaning this up and trying to make it look new is not worth it. It has a bunch of dinks and scratches and it's been messed up too much by the wear. I don't know if you can see this, but the strings have basically cut into it and it's crooked, it's not straight any longer. So I'm gonna order a new bridge. I don't know when it will be here. It will probably take a long time for it to get here because lately things take too long to get anywhere. So I think I'm gonna go back to the old bridge, the one that the guitar came with. It's a copy of a Wilkenstein bridge. So if you look at it, you might think, "Whoa, but that's it's better." But it's, you know, a Wilkinson bridge, but it's you know, it's not better because I have other Wilkinson bridges and they are not made of that, whatever that is. It's just made to look like one so that you would think you get better parts than you actually get when you buy the guitar. We'll just put that bridge on if the other bridge hasn't arrived by the time I have to put this guitar back together. And we'll see what happens. Yeah, so that's the hardware part. We're basically done now. We only have like one last thing to do, and I'm gonna show you that now. Okay, so next thing we need to do is we need to clean up the screw heads because I reliced them as well. So we can't use steel wool because that will make a mess, magnets, but we can take a Scotch-Brite pad and we can move it gently over the tops to clean them off. And as you can see, it's almost already done. Or maybe you can't see. There they are anyway. So gently move them back and forth. Try not to scratch everything up. I know it can be really hard to get in between, but just move it one side to another. And then when we're cleaned it off, we take our drill again and we just move it across. Something like that, something like that. By doing that for just a couple of seconds, the screw heads look a lot shinier and newer and back to their normal state. Well, there you have it. I realize this might not be the most fun thing to watch, but I think it's important that you clean your parts and that you know how to do it. And I hope the tuner thing might have helped in some way, or, you know, let me know in the comments below. We're almost ready to the guitar back together. So, thanks so much for watching, and I hope you'll stick around for the next video. Bye bye!